Hi, this is Melanie DewBerry. Thank you for joining me again. And I really appreciate those of you who are commenting. Feel free to ask me questions or comment or give me ideas that you want me to speak on. I'd love to do that as long as they're in the spiritual and consciousness realm. I'm happy to help. And up above on my Facebook page, I'd love for you to sign up for my Soul Revelation love notes that come to you. And so if you go up and sign up for my newsletter, I write about twice a month. Some inspirational. I tend to go a little longer than what you get in here. So we go a little bit more in depth. I'd love for you to join me. You'll notice that my book is out. It's on Amazon in pre-order, The Power of Naming, A Journey Towards Your Soul's Indigenous Nature through Hay House. It comes out on April 18th. I got my advanced copy, but you can go on Amazon if you're interested in learning a little bit more about what it is to name yourself. I also have a TEDx on that talk. But today, I wanted to talk to you about the fatigue of fear. I know a lot of you beautiful, precious human beings like me have visions, have dreams that you want to step into or are stepping into. And at some point and throughout, our journey of living out our dreams, we can get stuck by fear. Like it's just like a quicksand. It'll just keep you stuck. I know that I have huddled right over here is my bedroom. I'm in my own home. And I have huddled into my own little bed when fear comes crawling up. But when I did that most recently, it was actually around the book. The book was finishing up and I was having to reach out to do book launch things and reach out to other people to help me. And I got really afraid. And I usually don't get stuck by fear a whole lot. I do sometimes, but not a whole lot. And this time I really was in the quicksand. And one of the things that became really clear to me was how fatiguing fear was. How it wanted me to just go to sleep and let it all pass. And I did rest, and rest is wonderful. But there's a difference between rest and fear pulling you away from the very thing that you're trying to go after. And so, back in the old days when I used to be coached by one of my favorite people, Anna Greta, whenever she would say something that would scare me, I would yawn. I'd, have this big, long yawn. And she goes, "Oh, fear is showing up again." And I'm like, "Oh, really? Is that a pattern?" She goes, "Yes, every time fear shows up, you get really tired. Because what a great excuse to stop doing what you're doing. You just need a rest. You just want to take a moment. You just want to see if the inspiration comes. You just want to, no rush. You don't want to push yourself. The whole language of fear starts to come up, and it is very, very fatiguing. So, my dears, if you're anything like me, and I think that we are sisterhood, brotherhood, family, that you too get stuck in the quicksand of your own visions, your own dreams, and you get pulled into the fatigue of fear. And so I have some practical things to actually share with you that I do, and if you have other ones, I really do want you to post them on Facebook because the other readers would really appreciate it. First of all, I want to say for me anyway, there really is no pushing through. I find the ignoring of fear only makes fear more annoyed and comes back even larger. So I'm not one of those people that pushes through fear. I just don't push through emotions. I listen to them. So I do take time and I listen to them, but I don't listen to fear a whole lot. I give it a couple of minutes, what's really going on? Who's really afraid in you? I'll ask myself. How old are you? Because I want to know which part of me is really afraid. Is it my current age self? Is it my 9-year-old self? What's really being afraid? Who's really being afraid? So I will dialogue with myself for a minute to know who is actually afraid, because if it's my younger self, any version of my younger self, they're not the person that should lead me into the next step of what I should do. But I do want to hear from them, because if you don't hear from them, they'll have me anyway sitting around eating gelato all day long, which, I did do after I got out of bed. But, so I want to know who's in charge, and I want to know why they're afraid and how I can comfort them, how I can hold them as I move forward. And then I just rely on the silly, good old stuff, the really fun stuff. I put on, because I'm a child of the 60s, I actually put on music of the 80s. That's when I was out dancing. I put on some really good music and I dance and I get my energy back up. I go for a walk out into the forest, which I call AKA my church, where I believe the gods are. And I talk to the trees and I listen while they talk back to me. So I make sure I touch into Mother Nature, I touch into God, and I touch into my own adrenaline factor. And then if those don't work, then I get that phone call. I'd be dialing up my one or two sisters who really can hold me when I'm really scared, when the hoo-hoo is just literally scared out of me. And I'm about to do something, or I'm about not to do something and let something go. And I want to be, I was going to say brave, but I want to know that I can have this experience and not walk away from it, because I have walked away from other experiences in my life, and it doesn't feel good to leave something on the table. So I call those people who I say have latte-sized cups big enough to hold my fear and my dreams. Not the people that are going to give me tons of advice, not the people that are going to satiate me, the people who have big cups. The little cups are good for a good time. The medium cups, I can tell a little bit about my life too. But there's really only one, two, maybe three people in my life who've got cups big enough to hold me very close and very dear and love me back into myself. And I hope you have those one or two people in your life. So when you feel the fatigue of fear coming towards you, I want you to stop, but not to rest. I want you to stop to listen. I want you to stop to listen to who inside you is speaking, how old they are, and what is it they need. And I want you to lean in on other people, one or two people, and be silly. Dance. Do what energizes you. Go out and talk to God, Mother Nature, Earth. The elements are so accommodating us. They're so ready to speak to us if you'll just give them your time. And it's such a beautiful, beautiful way to spend your time. And then slowly but surely, with an inch more of confidence, start to step back in to your dream and let it take you. It'll happen many times as you're on the path. Don't expect fear to go away, but stay with it. Don't let it take charge of you. Don't let it fatigue you. It's been great chatting with you. I'll talk with you soon. Hey, matakiase.